Dave, 6:35 minus 7 right now at the airport. Good morning, everyone. A suspicious death of a man in a home in the southeast community of Southview is keeping Calgary police busy right now. Officers are looking for clues after being called to a home in the 2000 block of 27th Street Southeast. The initial 911 call coming in at around 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. A man apparently came home and found his roommate dead. The homicide unit is leading the investigation here. An autopsy is scheduled for today to figure out how the victim died. Of course, clues from the autopsy will also determine if this is Calgary's second murder of the year. About 100 people gathering at a southeast Calgary dog park for a candlelight vigil last night in honor of a dog and a cat. The vigil comes after a disturbing case of animal abuse in Calgary. A warning, some of the details in this story may be upsetting for some people. Holding signs and candles, people met at a dog park to honor a 2-year-old Siberian Husky and a 9-month-old kitten. The dog and cat were recently found dead in an alley in the southeast community of Willow Park. Their mouths had been taped shut. People from all over the world are outraged at the abuse. A reward is being offered now worth more than $40,000 to help catch the person or people responsible.
Well, there's 2 words that I would have to describe what happened to this poor animal. Would be shocked and disgusted. It's just terrible that something like this would happen anywhere in our province. And obviously a lot of people here tonight care about animals, and we have to make sure that the awareness is out there.
Another vigil is planned for this coming Saturday in Nose Hill Park. About 200 people have already said on Facebook that they plan to attend. Suncor Energy has called in the RCMP and the provincial workplace safety investigators now after an employee was found dead at Suncor's oiled sand site near Fort McMurray. Suncor says a search was launched yesterday after the man didn't show up for a meeting and was not answering radio calls. His body was eventually found hours later in the sand dump area, which is part of the mine site's extraction process. The man's family has been notified. His name has not been released. Overseas, Prime Minister Stephen Harper will become the first Canadian Prime Minister ever to address Israel's parliament today. Meantime, Canada is offering new economic aid worth about $66 million to Palestinians. Harper making that announcement this morning during a visit to the West Bank city of Ramallah, where he met with Palestinian Authority Chief Mahmoud Abbas. At a joint news conference with Abbas, Harper said his stance was neither Israeli nor Palestinian, but Canadian rather, and that he supports a 2-state solution to end the conflict. This week marking a national non-smoking week. While the number of people in Alberta continues to go down, smoking that is, there's still a lot of people who do light up. Alberta Health Services says more than 3,000 Albertans die every year as a result of smoking and tobacco-related illnesses. U of C professor Archer Thomas says there are several ways to kick the habit, but says tobacco companies must be held accountable.
What we need is very effective legal initiatives to sue the tobacco companies, actually bankrupt them, in order to pay for all the healthcare costs that they cause.
85% of Albertans between the ages of 15 and 19 are currently considered non-smokers. The highest rate in Alberta is among young adults, aged 20 to 24. Well, the restoration of Calgary's famous blues joint has been a labor of love for the National Music Centre. Not much is left at the King Eddie's 9th Avenue address. That's, of course, because asbestos and mold forced the closure of the popular watering hole back in 2004. Situated across the street from the soon-to-be new home of the National Music Centre and deemed a historic site, the King Eddie has been painstakingly pulled apart brick by brick. Those bricks were then put on a grid and numbered. All the mold has been blasted away, the asbestos removed. Now the King Eddie is going to be put back together to resemble what it looked like 100 years ago.
We can make sure that we can clean all that asbestos and mold off those bricks. We can restore it to the original 1905 facade, and we can put it back up so it can be around for another 100 years.
The King Eddie is on schedule, by the way, for opening in 2016. The National Music Centre is still raising the $150 million necessary to complete the makeover and restoration.